It's early August 2025, and I'm going to show you the bed I made for this room up here. If you've been following the channel, you see that I got the addition done, and now we're moving in, and you've seen the other beds I've made years and years ago, and I decided to make this bed. Here it is. It took forever, but when I say forever, it's like 3 or 4 weeks. I've been keeping myself busy during the summer because I had to start teaching school, and so I had some downtime, so this is what I've done. Because we had a mattress, we had a king-size mattress, but I didn't have a king-size bed, so instead of throwing the mattress away, I thought, well, I'll just make a bed. So, I mean, it's just out of framing lumber, so it was pretty cheap. Now, when I say cheap, that's relative. I still ended up spending about $1,000 for everything down there, okay? This is all the wood you're seeing. And I had some of it left over, but I had to buy enough wood to make the 16 drawers that this has, all right? So it has the drawers here on this side. I got 16 of those, okay? So I don't need a dresser inside this bedroom. I have 16 of these drawers. And as far as the construction, it's nothing fancy. We're just looking at butt joints. I know you're not supposed to have exposed end grains and fine woodworking, but I don't care because through here there's screws and that's what's holding this together, so I don't need to sit there and try to make dovetail joints and miter joints and everything. I just build a box, make my drawer front, put it on. I like recessing the drawers in the frame like that. So I got 16 of those. It took a lot of time. And then, like I mentioned before, this is just framing lumber. Now I did get a different species. I guess the one up here is probably Douglas fir, and this is probably, I don't know, maybe southern pine or white fir. I have no idea, but that's why the color's a little bit different. And these drawers, I don't even know what kind of wood that is, but it's just the cheapy pine stuff that you can pick up at Lowe's or Home Depot. And then on the decking it's just plywood. I just sanded it down and then I stained it, and that's all it is. It's just the same kind of plywood you put on a roof. So the bed's super heavy, it's super sturdy, and the panels that you see it's the same as the floor. Do you see this floor here? These were old, no, I'm not gonna say old, but they were pieces of flooring that I just had extra. And you can see the contrast between the pieces in the bed and the floor. When I put the floor down, my only regret was it said on the box, it's just the engineered hardwood floor. So the pieces click together, but then you also staple them down. They have a tongue and groove, and I love the floor. But the only thing I wish I would have done is I wish I would have come back and put an extra clear coat on the floor like I did on the bed, because look at the difference there. I just love that, how shiny it is and how silky and everything. So next time I do a floor, I'm gonna take an extra week or whatever and do the clear coat. But for now, we just want to get moved in, get sleeping up here. So let's talk about the finish a little bit. This wood, you're not gonna find pieces of wood that already look like this. I told you I got this at Home Depot, but then you have to I'm gonna tell you my little trade secret. A little DIY secret. You take a grinder, you take a wire cup wheel on a grinder, and then you just hit the grain and it just digs out all that soft wood, and that's what leaves it so distressed, and it leaves it scratched and everything. I actually like it because this is soft wood anyway. You're not supposed to be building furniture out of soft framing lumber like I did, but I like it because any little scratch, it's all just gonna hide in there. Nobody's gonna know which scratch came from the grinder and which scratch came from the other damage or whatever, you know what I mean? So that's why I ended up doing it like this, and I just love how it pops out that wood grain. And same thing with these 4x4 posts. It'll just pop that grain right out. Let's look at over here. See how it just pops that grain out, and it just leaves it like that. And then what I do is you can't really get in there with your sandpaper, so I take a piece of steel wool and I hit the whole bed with steel wool. So the finishing is I just start with a coat of, what's that stuff called? It's like really toxic and you don't want to be smelling it in your house. It's a pre-stained wood conditioner. Pre-stained wood conditioner. So if you want to put that on, you got to have plenty of airflow. And then after the pre-stained wood conditioner dries, then I put on a coat of just natural or clear wood stain, oil-based. Then once that dries, I put the one coat of polyurethane. What's it called? Polyacrylic. It's the water-based polyacrylic. I put one coat of that on. Then I have to sand that coat of polyacrylic. I sand it or I use the steel wool. Most likely the steel wool because that's how I get into these grain marks with that steel wool because it'll conform to the contour of this distressed grain. And then I come back and I put another coat of the polyacrylic on, and I don't even sand it. I guess you could sand the second coat if you really wanted to, but for me it's not worth it. Now, what I was going to say is if I would have done this bed different, I would have designed it a little bit different. You see how these they go in here, like I cut the post out, right? Which it goes back in there. I guess you would say mortise and tenon. I don't know what that woodworking joint is called, but that's cut out. Now right here I didn't. I just relied on, I just butted it up, okay? Because it worked like that. On paper it works like that, but when you go to build, next time I'm going to recess this in so when it goes in, it's in and there's no little gap because like over here, see I have that gap right there. I'm not so happy about, but it's like, well, that's just one of those things I'll fix next time. I'll redesign it, you know, but for right now, it's just going to let a little bit of daylight through. It's not a big deal. It's not like it's going to be letting a bunch of air into my house or anything like that. And I don't have a jointer, so those are the kind of results that you get. I kind of designed it like that because I knew things weren't going to be 100% perfect like this right here. I can't really get that any tighter. It's just the way my panels came off the table. I squared them up as much as I could, but you still get little things like that. So it's just a matter of a different design and trying to hide those next time inside the woodworking. So, but other than that, super happy with it. And since you've stayed tuned for so long watching the video, now let me show you another key design feature of this bed. So there's never a place for the suitcases, never a place for anything else. And so, you know, my drawers are great, but then I got a surprise right here. What? Who is that? And so, that's Casey. She just wanted to show you what's in there. The kids know they're not supposed to play in there. That's not what it's for. It's not for playing, but my kids are old enough where they understand. And, she just wanted to go in there and show you. So that's the, you know, and it's not really accessible unless the mattress is off. So I don't think they're going to get in there and slam the lid down on their fingers and stuff. But I couldn't resist the opportunity to take advantage of that wasted space. So there it is. Thanks for watching. Despídete, mamacita.